Welcome back to my channel, guys. I haven't posted a video in a few weeks. I actually had a recent injury about a week and a half ago. Yes, I tore my ligament, my MCL, medial collateral ligament. It's a ligament on the inside of your knee that helps you rotate your knee properly. When it's rotated too much or when it caves in, you could tear it. So this is what happened. Um, what when it happened, I literally heard something cracking in my knee, and this was while wearing headphones and listening to music. That's how loud it was. It was so scary. After it happened, I was kind of like just sitting there, like, oh my god, what did I do to myself now? I'm like, am I gonna be able to get up? Am I gonna be able to skate? I put my shoes on. I stretched a bit. I guess my body was in shock because I just felt numb. I got up and I stretched my legs a bit. They seemed fine, although I could tell I did do something. Surprisingly, I put my skates back on and I skated back home. And then that night, the pain was just excruciating. So the next day, I went to the doctor and I found out what happened. So, how did this happen? Well, I wasn't trying a new trick. As a matter of fact, I was simply doing something I already have a lot of practice in and I'm pretty confident in, which is the power slide. My left knee caved in when the wheels of my trailing foot lost traction. So it caused me to go into this awkward side split where I couldn't stop the inside of my knee from caving in. It was a lot like this position here. I did read that this is a very common injury in basketball and in skiing. So in my case, I did go to the doctor right away. Well, the day after. It was so hard to sleep. I had to take a painkiller. But the next day, I went to the doctor, pretty much limping. He says I only tore some tissue and that my MCL wasn't that involved, but that it did tear. It seems to take about 2 to 3 weeks to fully heal, and the doctor recommended I stay away from skating for about 3 months. When the doctor said that, my heart dropped. He also said I would need physical therapy within this time, which I've never participated in. So this is a whole new experience for me, one that I hoped I would never have to deal with, but it's happening. I mean, this injury taught me how injuries can really affect you, not only physically but psychologically, especially if you're an athletic person with a passion for your sport. It taught me that if I'm really serious about skating, then I need to be mentally flexible about these setbacks and willing to put the extra effort into strengthening my body and improving my flexibility through cross training. I mean, I was skating like 4 hours a day, every other day, while aspiring to try new tricks, but not doing any cross training whatsoever to prepare my body for these new challenges. Anyways, when you have an injury like this, you just keep thinking about what could you have done to prevent it so that you avoid it the next time. You want to take something from it, you know? It's a setback, but you want it to be something that kind of like moves you forward still. So I thought about it. I came to the conclusion that there were things that could have prevented this type of injury or made it less severe. Before I discuss this, let me tell you what my current safety protocol is for skating. Wear all safety gear available, including helmet. Every safety gear I've worn has either prevented an injury when I wore it or could have prevented an injury had I worn it. I wore all my safety gear this time around, but none of it saved me from this type of fall. I have to say that my wrist guards probably made it less painful to fall, but there was no direct impact to the floor with my wrists or with my body. Number two, stop skating when you're fatigued. The first thing that goes when I'm fatigued is my form. And when my form goes, my chances of injury and falling increase. So I find it best to not continue skating for the moment until I'm better rested. I was a little bit tired, but I don't think I had reached the point of fatigue at the time that I was injured. I mean, maybe now that I think about it, it was toward the end of the day. I had already skated for maybe 2 hours. So I guess I can consider that as maybe one of the factors that could have contributed to my injury, but not really a huge factor. Number three, stay hydrated. As you can see in this clip, I was drinking a lot of water. This was the same day that I was injured. As soon as the water bottles I carry around are empty, I fill them up near the park by my house. I don't allow myself to run out of water if I can avoid it. It's easy to suffer from heat exhaustion, especially in South Florida, where it's summer pretty much all year round. Number four, increase my situational awareness in congested areas at night. I love listening to music while I'm skating, but there are times I realize that I need to hear everything around me, so I try to remove at least one earbud. When I find myself skating in heavily congested areas with cars and pedestrians, I need to be able to hear car engines or other skaters or bikers. I also tend to do this if I'm skating at night for safety reasons. At the time of the injury, this didn't apply since I wasn't really skating at night and there were no pedestrians or cars where I was injured. Number five, avoid skating in wet areas. This is mainly due to the wheel's inability to grip the ground when the floor is wet. Sliding becomes difficult. My range of motion has to decrease to avoid falling. There are times when I'm skating and it starts to rain and I have to get back home. If it's a slight drizzle, I'll skate home carefully, avoid any slides, but it's still a risk. I avoid it at all costs. As far as the area where I was skating when I got injured, it wasn't wet, but I do have to say that it was a little bit lower in traction than the usual areas where I tend to practice my slides. With the wheels as worn as mine, I should have probably avoided rockering them given that they were so worn. This left me with few wheels to grip the surface to fully support that slide. I was practicing slalom moves with the cones earlier, so I just kind of left them that way before I went into practicing my slides. I probably should have not done that. So, those are the main safety protocols I followed and I typically follow. I followed them at the time of my injury to the T, but it still didn't prevent me from being injured. So I have come to the conclusion that my wheel condition needs to be added to my protocol list. Also, I'm not sure if it's safe to try slides with wheels that are rockered, since the more wheels they have to grip the ground, the better the traction for the slide, I guess. I mean, it just might be the type of slide and adjusting your form to compensate for the type of slide. I'm not sure, but the worn wheels certainly didn't help. I guess the importance of replacing your wheels shouldn't be underestimated. So I'm definitely going to add that to my list. And yes, wheels can be expensive, but x rays, MRIs, doctor's visits, pain, and time off for skating is a lot more expensive overall. So, yeah. The crazy thing is that my new wheels were already on their way to me when I was injured. So you can imagine how sad it was for me when they arrived at my doorstep and I was in crutches. So, depending on the speed in which I heal and my recovery during physical therapy, I hope I'm able to skate sooner than I initially thought. Another thing from being on a break from skating is that I can take care of that elbow injury I had a few weeks ago. My elbow was starting to feel better, but as soon as I got this new injury, I had to put additional weight on that left arm, which caused that bone contusion that I had to kind of reactivate and start hurting again. So, if anything, this teaches me not to rush things and to take the proper time I need to heal. This experience has increased my passion to skate and it has motivated me to cross train. I plan on strengthening my body more to avoid injury and improve my technique. So I think that if I strengthen my upper arms and my biceps, that I'll be able to support my weight better and risk less injury to my bones. So that's what I'm taking from this. Perhaps some more flexibility could have helped me stabilize the fall and land in a proper split, for example. Um, some yoga might be something to consider because in these types of falls, rather than being afraid of ripping your muscles in a split, you just take the split. Anyways, I hope this video helps. Um, I hope that, whatever experiences you've had that you've been able to overcome. During this time, I looked for videos on YouTube about other skaters that have overcome injuries like this. I feel it's so encouraging to hear from other stories, how they've overcome these obstacles. I managed to find some videos, and I'll put them in the links below. Many of them were inspiring, and I recommend them. What am I going to be doing this time that I'm not skating? Well, for one thing, I'm not going to sit on my couch depressed. If I do sit on my couch, I might watch a couple of movies or shows and some skating videos. But other than that, I am looking forward to next week, Thanksgiving week. My brother's coming down, and I'm going to film some clips of him skating. Other than that, I am going to pick up painting again. I have kind of neglected that. I want to get back into it and enjoy some time doing that. I've also been getting into certain recipes. Now that I'm healing, I want to eat the right foods so that I can heal quicker and make my body stronger and healthier. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I leave you with some clips of me skating a few days before. In the meantime, I'll be skating vicariously through you for the moment. So happy skating and thanks for watching. Bye.